Show and Tell Signature.
Welcome to Show and Tell Signature. This is just some of my favorite people talking about some of their favorite decks. Today I am scared and super excited to be joined by my amazing friend Brujaja Gaming.
Why are you scared?
You know why I'm scared. You know why.
All right.
They are here to talk their Gary Clone Pauper EDH deck. So this is a... Well, here's the question, I guess. Is Pauper EDH... Can you use any commander, or is this technically a Rule 0 Pauper commander
You can
deck?
use any uncommon creature, unless it's banned. But you can use any uncommon creature. It does not have to be legendary to be your commander.
Okay, very cool. So inherently, by being a Pauper EDH deck, this is technically a bracket 1 if you were to play it against an standard EDH, whatever that looks like these days, or is or isn't. There are varying opinions from varying people, I'm sure. So Gary Clone, it's going to be real fast. 1 and a white for a 1/3 human citizen. It's got Squad 2. Squad 2 is, as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay 2 any number of times. When this creature enters the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it. When Gary Clone attacks, each creature you control named Gary Clone gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Gary. Aside from being a Magic streamer, you are also a pretty big Fallout streamer. I know you stream Fallout 76. Is that the...
Yeah, right now I'm streaming mostly Fallout 76 between the series, but I am still throwing 4 and New Vegas up there, especially if Fallout's updating that day. If 76 is updating that day. And Bethesda's been cool and has released a bunch of updates for 4 that are all like aesthetic updates, so you get like new power armor skins and things like that. So
Nice.
No Vegas remake yet, but they are maintaining 4 and 76. So
That's funny.
yeah, I stream about once a week. I do that, and then the rest is Magic.
There you go. So why don't you just talk to me about the core idea of the deck? What is the Gary Clone deck looking to try to do?
So the Squad 2 ability was really what inspired the deck. I decided that this entire deck is going to be focused on getting as much mana out as humanly possible as quickly as possible so that I can keep bouncing Gary back to my hand and recasting it.
Okay.
It's worked way better than I expected. And then there's some removal in there, but because it's all commons, like I don't have access to board wipes or anything like that, so then I threw some, I guess, I don't know if it's pillow for it you would call it, but like making players skip combat steps and things like that for some version of protection.
Okay. Very cool. And just as an aside, as someone who I never really played Fallout at all, unfortunately. It's one of those games I always kind of meant to get around to and then never did. Did watch the Fallout show. First season was very good. Is Gary the squad ability? I mean, it looks like he's cloned. So is that kind of like a thing? I mean, so what drew you to make it? Maybe that part goes into part 2. Like, what drew you to making the deck from the beginning?
I thought it was funny. The amount of things in my career as a creator that have come to be because I made a joke or thought it was funny, and then it ended up being wildly successful for me, is almost everything I've done that's been successful has been a joke at first. And this was no different. I'm like, how funny would it be to just have like 50 Garys punch someone in the face? I think that would be hilarious.
That would be funny. Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to do it in a way where it could actually build the whole deck for it. And then I realized Pauper exists.
Yeah.
So why not try it as a Pauper EDH deck and see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to go about it. We were kind of chatting before, according to Moxfield, it's only about $35 to make this deck, which, you know, Pauper is be it Commander or just Pauper 60 card format. Pauper's a great way to play Magic.
It's great. It's great. And honestly, most of this deck came from my bulk that I already owned.
Yeah.
I don't think I spent more than like $8 on, not even, maybe like $5 on cards.
Yeah.
For this deck.
Yeah, that's again, like building from your bulk is always a great feeling. It's funny because, like, you know, if you're building a normal Commander deck, $8 might be a card you need to kind of fill out a slot out of the 100. So that's super cool. It's interesting. So is in the Fallout lore, is there a vault filled with a bunch of Gary clones? Is that kind of the
There is. Wait, which vault? Hold on. Vault 108.
108
from Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. Okay.
Is Gary Clone's home.
Gotcha.
The story behind Gary Clone, that was a vault in which their experiments included a cloning machine in the vault. And I forget every single detail of it, but basically people started cloning themselves, which started leading to complete madness of these individuals.
Gotcha.
And they all killed each other. Everybody killed each other. Except Gary. Gary survived.
Oh.
And after, having seen the entire vault die and all of this mayhem with cloning and stuff, he started cloning himself. And he kept cloning himself. And then the clones started cloning themselves. So it became an entire vault of Gary clones. And because they had devolved at that point to be generations upon generations of clones.
Yeah.
All they could say was Gary. All they knew was their name.
It's like a Pokemon. They're like a Pokemon.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of the creepiest vaults to go into as a player because you don't know if it's the same Gary. It's all the same guy. So you're just surrounded by Garys being like, Gary. Wait, stop that. You creep.
Are they nice? Are they mean? Is it like
Oh, they're mean. They're trying to kill you the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're psychopaths on top of it. Like, you don't want to go in Vault 108 unless you want to go see Gary Clone.
Gotcha. Okay, that's too funny. It's interesting they decided to go with Squad as opposed to this deck may have any number of cards named Gary Clone.
I thought about that, and it didn't make sense to me either, but then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, that actually makes sense, because it was only one guy that kept cloning himself.
Yeah, I guess that's
true. To have
true.
A bunch of the original Gary cards made it seem like that would be a bunch of the original Garys,
yeah,
and there'd be more than one guy named Gary cloning himself, whereas opposed to the clones were cloning themselves. So, flavor-wise, it ended up making sense, and it's so funny.
Gotcha. So it looks like pretty much you are just trying to make a bunch of mana, play Gary a bunch, bounce Gary back to your hand, and just continue to make as many. How do you know what is the most amount of Garys you've made in a game? Do you know offhand? Putting you on the spot, I know.
Hold on, let me do math because I know how much damage I did. Poor Hobbs at a game at a LobbyCon in Las Vegas a couple of years ago. I don't even know what to divide this by.
It's weird because each other clone gets. Well, do you know the damage number? What's the damage number?
142.
142.
Non-commander. That was just Gary tokens.
Gary tokens.
Well. Yeah, I did 142 damage to Hobbs's face. I'm pretty sure he was playing a goblin deck. I was also in the pod with Queen of Cardboard and my boyfriend Gozer Gozerian. I don't remember what Queen was playing, but it was definitely like a spicy bracket 3. And Gozer was playing the like solid bracket 3 Kahira Big Stompy Classic Selesnya win cons deck. So to win against those decks with a $30 deck of commons, it was so funny.
That is funny. So what I'll do, my boss has like a minor in math. I'll send him the card. I'm like, hey, can you figure this out for me? If I have a 1/3 that gives +1/+0 every time it attacks, how many are there if the total is 142? Help me. I'm bad at math.
I'm horrible at math. I have an art degree.
Yeah, because liberal arts, political science. I got political science and philosophy. We ain't doing math over here.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. I'm real good at arguing. So just want to kind of go through some notes on the deck in general. 36 lands, very responsible mana base.
That seems to be kind of my sweet spot is 36, 37 lands.
I have noticed on a lot of decks, 36 does seem to be a pretty... Most people who have 36 are pretty happy with that number, unless they're running a really low to the ground kind of game plan.
Yeah. I'm pretty much either a 40 or like a 36, 37 person.
One thing, sometimes I see decks like this that I don't know, I find it so, it's just such a nostalgic or romantic to areas. 30 planes, there's just 30 basic lands in this. I feel like sometimes we get so caught up, especially when you get to higher brackets with utility lands and dual lands and this and that. I guess obviously they're needed, but there's something about a deck that has just 30 planes out of its 36 lands that's just like, that's a fun way to play Magic. There's some utility lands in there obviously, but nothing too crazy. But
like again, it's all commons. So the utility lands that are in there aren't going to be great. But they're incredibly useful. Like I have Opal Palace. I have to keep recasting Gary.
Yep.
And that does not mean that he doesn't need to be cast from the command zone for that to work. Path of Ancestry. Every time I cast a Gary, I get a benefit for a human. The human is Gary.
Yes.
Yes. So it's just like stuff like that. But
definitely,
I am a huge fan of as many common, like basic lands as you can get in a deck humanly possible, even at high power. There's so many things that affect how your land base plays out that I feel it's important to have a bunch of basic lands. They're harder to remove.
Yeah.
On top of it, and I have had arguments with people about land bases.
Yeah.
I'm not spending a lot on land bases, and I'm not going to proxy lands because other cards exist that are in fact cheaper than my bus rides round trip to the library that I could just buy from an LGS.
Yeah.
So I tend to just compensate for a bunch of basic land, and it's never been an issue. So yeah, I'm such a big fan. I wanted as many basic lands in here as humanly possible, because also, again, it's all commons. How am I fetching non-basic lands?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. It's it does also feel bad. I feel like if you're spending money on a deck, like spending money on the lands, it's like kind of like, okay, like we buy a shock land or this or a triome, and it's like, it's cool, but like I could be spending this on like a cool creature card or a cool instant or so.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people that has never once had luck with putting dual lands in my deck. I will only draw the same two friggin' colors and still be screwed.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I play things like Chromatic Lantern, and people have yelled at me about that card.
Oh, I'm very pro Chromatic.
Vile.
Yeah.
About. Which, reminder for the people at home, this game is sold in toy stores.
Yes.
Get it together.
So just some cool cards that I hadn't really seen. I think they just really go along with the theme of the deck. So Aegis Automaton. It's an artifact creature construct. It's 2 colorless for a 0/3 artifact creature construct. Just 4 and white. Return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. Kind of just a cool little dude, little construct guy. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in here that is just aiming to bob Gary back to your hand to be able to recast. I guess the kind of cool
pretty
part.
Much the whole deck.
Yeah. I guess maybe one advantage of the squad versus like this card can have any number or whatever is you can play it early, and then because you're trying to bounce stuff back, you can get more value down the line.
Yep.
So
I
like
don't never have to worry about commander tax.
Yes.
Unless somebody directly moves Gary from the battlefield, but he's not on the battlefield that long typically, so he's kind of annoying to remove.
Yeah.
Which makes, like, I don't have a lot of protection in here, but, like, kind of the inherent mechanics of Gary is protection because he doesn't stay on the board long. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a smart way to play it. Another kind of cool card I liked was Indoctrination Attendant, 3 and a white for a creature, Phyrexian Cleric. It's got Toxic 1, which is pretty cool. For 3/4, when Indoctrination and Attendant enters the battlefield, you may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. I like cards like this where, you know, your basic strategy is, you know, I have a command or whatever, I want to play, bounce, and replay. But these kind of cards are cool because they feel like a secondary function where, yeah, you can bounce your commander back, but you're getting additional value because now you're getting
a 3/4 on the field.
You're a 3/4, and you're getting a 1/1 Might, right?
And they both have Toxic.
They both have Toxic, so now Poison becomes like almost like a secondary, like if you want to try to poison someone
and
out.
I have no proliferation. Again, it's like all commons.
Yeah.
But Toxic never feels wrong. Plus, other people play proliferation, and if I have Toxic on someone, now we can politic.
Exactly. Yep. You know, I think Poison is a fairly popular, you know, secondary win, or sometimes first win con for people. So like being able to kind of threaten that. Plus, this is like also something you can bounce instead of Gary if you wanted to go. You know, so you can. There's like loops where, you know, you bounce Gary with this. You know, replay Gary, bounce.
I have so many creatures that ETB and bounce, or create something, or let me like draw a card. That having that flexibility of if Gary's not on the field, I could still do some other nonsense. Ooh, excuse me.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm drinking coffee and my meds are kicking in, and I just burped so much. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I'm so graceful.
This is a pro burping show, so you're good. Another card I really thought was kind of cool. It was from Duskmourn, so it's a little newer. As Trapped in the Screen, it's 2 and white for an enchantment. Has Ward 2, and we'll get to that. But when Trapped in the Screen enters, exile target artifact, creature, or an enchantment an opponent controls until Trapped in the Screen leaves the battlefield. Now, obviously, this kind of thing, if you target someone's commander, they can just bop it back to the command zone. But if you target like a non-commander, Ward 2, for all intents and purposes,
it's annoying.
It's almost like it's basically hexproof in a lot of instances, right?
It's hexproof for a bit. It's like temporary hexproof. I'm a big fan. I actually, of all of the versions of that, this is like, what is it? Binding Light, whatever the hell those cards are. It costs the same. It targets the same. But the ward is why it went in the deck. Because all of those are commons. Any of them would have fit. And I have, I think, most of those cards that exist. But Trapped in the Screen, I played during pre-release. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. It did so much work for me. I play it on Arena a lot when I'm playing decks with white. So, yeah, this was one of the like first things I chose to add.
Oh yeah, I feel like this is one of the cards you look at and you're kind of like, oh, okay, like why would I? Doesn't hit play, but like the more you use it, the more you're like, oh no, this is gonna put in the time and the work. That again, that Ward 2 is just. It is so annoying.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
It's like it's not hard to deal with. It's just wildly inconvenient.
Yes.
That seems to be the style of my deck building. It's like this isn't bad. It can easily be dealt with. It's just annoying as hell to get to a point where you can deal with it.
Yeah, I see a lot of on Arena. Sheltered by Ghosts is a newer card. It's also actually I think from Duskmourn. Does kind of similar idea, but also gives your enchanted creature Ward 2, and I'm just like, man, Ward 2 is just because when a lot of removal is 2 mana, all of a sudden jump into 4 is like it's a lot. It's a big investment, and like, to your point, like especially in the early game, an extra 2 mana, obviously late game maybe you have some more mana, but by that point you would think your board would be so wide, it's not gonna.
And if it's late game, I'm doing this on a commander for the sheer ability to increase that commander cost. Like, fine, you have to recast it, but it doesn't have haste. If it doesn't have haste, we're good. If it can do something, it'd be great.
And what's really cool is being like a permanent, like an enchantment versus like just a straight up removal spell. If something comes around later in the game, you have so much permanent bounce, you could actually bring this, what was initially trapped in the screen may not be as big a deal now. you can
Yeah.
get your thing back for and target something else. So there's some utility there, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah. Bless you. Nailed it.
Thank you.
So super cool card there. What was another one I really like? Lapse of Certainty. So this is one of those cards I don't think people realize like how powerful this kind of card is because it's in white.
Yeah.
2 and white, instant, counter target spell.
That's
spell.
one of the most expensive cards in the deck. It's $1.50.
Yeah.
I spent $1.50 on this, people.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But yeah, I'm actually surprised at how inexpensive that is. If it counters a spell, it puts it at the top of its owner's library instead of going in that player's graveyard. So like, counterspell outside of blue, usually people do not see that coming, right? I mean, people know of Mana Tithe. I guess is it Reprieve? Is that the white one that's kind of similar to this, where it puts it back in your hand? It's like the white Remand, I think. And in a lot of ways, sometimes, obviously, like you're not going to get a straight up counter target spell in white. They're never going to. They should. They probably should. They should make a white counter spell. I don't see why not. But like, if you're sometimes putting it back on top of the library is almost like the next best thing because it puts your opponent in a weird spot where like not only their thing didn't get they wasted a turn maybe playing a big thing, and then like they're not getting another card to see from their deck, so like they know it's coming, they're gonna draw it again, so it kind of puts you in this weird kind of loop. Like I've had stuff.
Like, unless they have a Scry or Surveil that they can use kind of right away, then we all know what's on top. We all know what's coming. And it's just, again, it's inconvenient.
Yes. And I think that's, and again, just being in white, I just don't think people see it coming. It's just like you don't think about any sort of counter outside of blue.
And even when it comes to white counter spells, everybody says Mana Tithe. That's like the most well-known. It's classic. It's fun.
Yeah.
So, Lapse in Certainty, this was suggested for a deck for me when I first started playing Magic, and I was building an absolutely diabolical hard exile deck.
Yeah.
And there weren't a lot of it was black and white, so it's always what am I doing with that?
Yeah.
Somebody suggested this. I was like,
yeah,
sure.
And it's like it gives if let's say someone is popping off on their own and you have this in hand, it kind of gives the table like an extra turn, 3 cards to look at, and it forces your opponent to like stall their plan because they're not only is their plan stopped, but they're not getting like something, they're not drawing into something even better because it's going to be the
if
same
there's
thing.
no blue player in the group, this can screw up someone's infinite combo.
Yes.
Because by the time we get back to their turn, somebody may have been able to remove their combo piece on the board, and now they don't have access to it. Yeah. So just kind of, it's a speed bump.
Yes.
A lot of the cards in here are meant to be a speed bump, and that's kind of what gives me the ability to even get damage out.
Yeah. And speed, I feel like, it's easy to overlook the power of a speed bump, but, in a game, that if it's, say, a typical commander game, I don't know, 8 turns, 9 turns, 7 turns, setting someone back 1 turn could be huge. Like that could be the difference between winning and losing. Unless
you're playing the kind of low power that's like, I like to. Okay, so my theory on Magic is CEDH is not confined to extremely high power. The attitude and mindset exist at every power level.
Okay.
Low power is either meme, meme and jank, or going hard as a mofo with low power cards. Somebody got mad at me on a post once for not acknowledging that.
Well, makes sense. Yeah, it's because
so like if low power meme deck or game could go like 15 turns.
Yeah.
So setting people back 1 turn at that level, not a big deal. This keeps up with bracket 3s and wins against them.
Yeah.
Setting people back a turn at that level matters a lot more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think again I preach a lot that strong strategies and synergistic cards sometimes are just as good, if maybe not better ways to build decks than just expensive cards, right? Obviously, there's probably a tipping point where, like, yeah, putting a bunch of money in your deck makes it better, but you can make very, very strong, effective decks if the deck is built very well and you know how to pilot it well, right? I think that's kind of a theme, and you know, people think it's like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of powerful cards and shove them in a deck, but it's like, oh, it never wins. Like, yeah, but like, what are you trying to do? Like,
what was the point of them?
Yes.
What was the goal of them? Did you get them because someone said they were powerful?
Yeah.
Or because they're staples? Or did you put it in there because there was a direct and specific purpose? Like, there is a scenario in your head in which this would apply specifically, or is it just good stuff, hope for the best?
Yeah.
Which is not a judgment or a shade.
Yeah.
But defining what that is, in my opinion, really determines how you pilot it.
Yeah. Exactly. And this last card that I want to point out, I think it's kind of a cool card, and a lot of token or creature go wide kind of decks. Crashing Drawbridge.
Yeah.
2 mana artifact creature wall. I love wall. I remember when walls were like a thing. When it just before they did errata everything to defenders. No, it's just a wall. You just have to know. But yeah, 0/4 defender, but tap creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Haste is one of those things I preach a lot. Haste and trample are kind of two big points I will opine about that. They are powerful abilities and easily get overlooked on how strong they are. Haste, especially in a deck like this where you're trying to make a bunch of clones, being able to swing out with them as soon as they kind of come out, I think can really turn the tide.
This is one of those cards that when people see it, they remove.
Yeah.
They are fully aware that if I get my 12 Garys haste, then it needs to go.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. This should be removed. This specifically is a threat in this deck.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Love this card.
Yeah, great card. Let's go over to the one.
The one.
All right. So for your deck, for the one, you chose Moment of Silence.
Yes.
One white instant. Target player skips his or her combat phase this turn. What a God! I don't think I've ever seen this card.
Or like I say, I hate you, Gruul player. That's actually what the name should be. I don't hate Gruul players.
Only in that brief moment when this card's on the stack and you're targeting that player. That's the only essence of hate.
Because if you think about it now, their entire board is tapped. They thought they were about to win. Their whole board is tapped. Bye.
So just tell me, like, why is this that one card you would never cut? Like, what I mean, obviously it's very powerful, but like, what about this card speaks to you?
People do not expect this kind of card in any deck. I remember one of the first times I played it, I was at Lua Stardust and Comedian's house. And they had a party, and we're just all hanging out, playing Magic, and Comedian wasn't in the pod, but he was sitting at the table just chilling. And talking to us. And I played Moment of Silence. And it took him a second, he goes, wait, what is that card? And he looked at it. He was like, oh, like he had never seen this card before. And this man, I mean, CEDH might as well be called Comedian EDH at this point. Like, the man can't stop winning competitions.
He has won. It feels like every week there's a picture of him holding up another time twister. He has won.
Right? I'm like, just give it to him at this point.
Yeah.
So for him to have that kind of reaction, I was like, oh, okay. So people actually don't know this card. And it's a common, and it costs 35 cents.
Yeah.
And even then, that's TCG's minimum. TCG doesn't list anything on Moxfield lower than 35. This was like a 7-cent card. Like, no one is playing it.
I mean, yeah, Mercadian Mask.
And there's a few cards in here that are like, skip your turn step, your attack step. But Moment of Silence has become one of my favorite cards because of it. I do want more copies for other decks because, again, it's a speed bump, but that is a very significant speed bump.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's a good time.
I have to go back and look at my bulk now because I played a lot during Mercadian Masks. Bought a lot of masks, unfortunately. So I'll have to go see things bouncing around in there. But yeah, great card.
Yeah.
There's a weird kind of like control shell to this deck for a token kind of token deck, which is kind of fun. I don't think you see that too often, which is pretty neat. So, so yeah, I mean, super cool deck. I guess the only other question I have, how do you think this reflects like your normal play style, or do you have any other memorable stories in regards to the deck? Like it's again, one of my favorite parts of like Commander itself is like the ability to kind of build decks that speak to us outside of like, oh, this card does X, Y, Z. It's like, oh no, like you're really into Fallout. You think the Gary thing is funny. So like, like what do you think about something like that?
I mean, Gary is absolutely hysterical, but this deck has become. This has more wins than every single one of my other Commander decks. My high power Commander deck, it does not matter. This deck has the most wins because it's such a sleeper. Like, it doesn't do anything for the first few turns, so people typically leave you alone because there's no threats. And then all of a sudden, out of left field, it's just nonsense. And part of the benefit of that is, even if someone with a lot of removal has burned a lot of their removal at that point, dealing with the higher powered decks stuff. Because people let me rule zero this into EDH decks. I've actually never played this in a PEDH pod.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Only EDH pods.
Yeah.
So for this to be the deck that wins the most in EDH pods is wild. And back to Comedian, he built a Gary deck inspired by my Gary deck.
That's cool.
I played on Scrybabies. We recorded a few months ago, and I shot one game. That's out now. I played Anand Pakal. Super high power, or high power Anand Pakal. Love that deck. We were trying to figure out what deck I should play next for the second game.
Yeah.
And I had brought like 15 decks, and one of them was Gary. And the only reason I brought Gary was because I figured if we had energy or a lot of time between shoots, maybe we would play. I doubted it, but just in case. And that was like the nonsense deck. So I'm listing all the decks, and they're like, okay. And then I'm like, and I have Gary. A Comedian just goes, play Gary. It's like, are you sure? He's like, play Gary. I'm like, all right, I won. I freaking won on an episode of Scrybabies with this dumbass deck. But probably my favorite memory associated with this deck was, I want to say it was on Magic Con Vegas that I brought this to, and I played, and I cannot remember everybody that was in the pod. But it was a 5-person pod. One person was playing a Zada deck, and then Carlo MTG was in there, and that's significant because the man is on the Magic Jank team, and he's phenomenal at Magic.
Yeah.
He was playing the Orzhov Edgar Markov life game. And then my boyfriend, who was again playing this thick, chonky, big, stompy Selesnya Kahira deck. I knocked Carlo out when he had like 200-something health in 2 turns. Knocked him out. He's just staring at it like, oh my god. Like, he was so impressed that it was able to do that at all. He was like, what? Like, I almost won. My boyfriend found something. My boyfriend pulled out I think it was Fog of War. Maybe, I don't remember. But he was able to protect himself after I had fully swinged, so I was completely tapped out, and he won with all his big stompy creatures. But it came down to the 2 of us, so I knocked out the Zada player, I knocked out the Orzhov Ekremarkov life game player, and whoever the other person was, I'm so sorry, I can't remember their deck, knocked them all out. With stupid little Gary tokens. Just so dumb. Like,
there is something you could say, a catchphrase, if you will. I won't say it. But no, it's, again, just a testament to the power of deck building, so, but yeah, Brew, thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. This deck list will be up on the Show and Tell Signature Moxfield site. Not sponsored by Moxfield, but just really big fan for deck lists.
Love Moxfield.
Great place to find inspiration, store your decks, goldfish decks if you want. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen, feel free to like and subscribe. And Brew, I'll talk to you soon, and we'll catch everyone next time.
Hell yeah.